Have you ever stepped into a space, perhaps the cherished home of an older loved one, or even paused in your own hallway and detected a faint, almost apologetic scent that whispers of a silent struggle? It's a delicate aroma, not necessarily of uncleanliness, but one that hints at an intimate challenge many face but few openly discuss. For countless individuals, particularly women navigating their later years, the quiet persistence of urine odor is an unspoken reality, a source of deep-seated embarrassment that often has little to do with a lack of personal hygiene and everything to do with the subtle yet significant shifts an aging body undergoes. This isn't a headline-grabbing crisis, but it's a profoundly personal one, capable of insidiously eroding self-confidence, dimming the light of social engagement, and casting an unwarranted shadow over what should be golden, peaceful years. This sensitive topic is often tiptoed around, shrouded in a veil of discomfort, yet its impact on daily life, on personal dignity, and on the simple, unadulterated joy of feeling comfortable and at ease in one's own skin is undeniably profound. What if the very habits adopted to manage or mask this concern are, paradoxically, unintentionally perpetuating it? What if well-meaning attempts to maintain freshness are falling short due to a lack of specific knowledge? It's a frustrating cycle, but one that can be broken. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on this common yet widely misunderstood issue. We're not here to point fingers, induce shame, or add to any existing burden of worry. Instead, our purpose is to illuminate, to foster understanding, and most importantly, to empower. We will explore 7 common, often overlooked, habits and missteps that can unwittingly contribute to this persistent odor. More crucially, we will delve into practical, respectful, and effective strategies to not just manage or remove it, but to prevent its unwelcome return. This journey is about so much more than just eliminating a scent. It's about restoring a sense of profound comfort, reclaiming inherent dignity, and fostering the unwavering confidence to embrace every day, every interaction, without that nagging veil of worry. Whether you're seeking solutions for yourself, offering support to a cherished friend or family member, or simply aiming to broaden your understanding, the insights shared here can be truly transformative. The path to feeling genuinely fresh, undeniably proud, and refreshingly unburdened begins with knowledge. And that journey starts right now. Mistake 1: wearing soiled pads or underwear too long. One of the most prevalent yet often misunderstood reasons older adults may develop a persistent urine smell isn't a reflection of neglecting personal hygiene. Rather, it frequently stems from a misjudgment in timing. Specifically, waiting too long before changing continence pads or absorbent underwear after even a minor leak. This delay, however unintentional, can quietly lay the foundation for a lingering odor that embeds itself into daily life, even when all other aspects of cleanliness seem meticulously managed. Many women in their 70s, 80s, and beyond rely on liners or specially designed absorbent pads throughout the day. These products offer a valuable sense of security and peace of mind, acting as a discreet safety net. However, a crucial aspect often overlooked is that the primary design of these materials is to absorb moisture, not necessarily to neutralize odor effectively over extended periods. When a pad, even one that has absorbed only a small amount of urine, remains in contact with the skin for several hours, the trapped moisture doesn't simply stay inert. It begins a complex interaction with the natural bacteria present on the skin's surface. This biochemical process is the genesis of the characteristic ammonia-like smell associated with stale urine, a smell that, once established, can be surprisingly tenacious. Even with the best intentions, various factors can contribute to delayed changes. Some individuals may try to extend the use of their supplies to conserve them, perhaps using a single pad for half a day or even longer, especially if leaks are perceived as minimal. Others might not immediately notice a small leak, particularly if they are engaged in activities or experiencing reduced sensation. Furthermore, social situations can create a barrier. The thought of excusing oneself to attend to personal needs can feel embarrassing or disruptive, leading to postponement. Yet, once urine dries into fabric, even highly absorbent fabric, its chemical composition changes. The urea breaks down, releasing ammonia, and this scent becomes progressively harder to eliminate, particularly from undergarments that are in close and prolonged contact with the body. Unfortunately, this subtle but pervasive scent doesn't always remain contained within the undergarments. It has a way of migrating, clinging to outer clothing, seeping into the fabric of frequently used chair cushions, and sometimes even subtly altering the ambient air quality of a room. It's rarely an overpowering or obvious smell to others initially, but it's often just perceptible enough to create a persistent undercurrent of self-consciousness for the individual. That quiet, gnawing worry, "Can anyone smell this?" can begin to grow, subtly influencing behavior and diminishing self-assurance. What's vitally important to remember here is that this situation is not about shame or a failing on anyone's part. It's about cultivating awareness and understanding the practicalities of continence care. Pads and absorbent underwear are incredibly useful tools, but their efficacy is intrinsically linked to regular and timely changes. For some, this might mean a change every 2 to 3 hours, depending on their individual needs and the frequency or volume of leakage. For others, it might involve the practical step of keeping an extra set of undergarments and a fresh pad in a small, discreet pouch when leaving the home. A simple, just-in-case measure that provides immense reassurance. One simple yet profoundly effective change can be the establishment of a quiet, personal routine centered around pad changes. This could involve changing after each meal, before leaving the house for an outing, and again before settling down for bed. This isn't necessarily dictated by strict medical necessity for everyone, but rather by the desire to consistently feel dry, clean, and secure. There's a quiet dignity inherent in proactively taking care of oneself in this manner, a refusal to let embarrassment or mere convenience dictate one's sense of well-being. Every time a pad is changed or a moment is taken to freshen up, it's more than just the removal of a potential source of odor. It's an act of restoring comfort, control, and a sense of personal integrity that no one else can bestow. That was our first crucial insight into managing personal freshness. If you found this information about the importance of timely changes valuable and plan to apply this awareness, please comment with the number 1 below. Your engagement helps us understand what resonates most with you and encourages us to continue sharing helpful content. Mistake 2, not drinking enough water throughout the day. It might seem counterintuitive, almost like a paradox. If one is concerned about urinary leaks, wouldn't drinking less water be a logical step to reduce the frequency of accidents? This line of thinking is common, yet in reality, the opposite often holds true, particularly when it comes to managing urine odor. When older adults do not consume an adequate amount of water throughout the day, their urine becomes darker, more concentrated, and consequently far stronger in smell. In such cases, even the tiniest, almost imperceptible bit of leakage can create an odor that stubbornly sticks around much longer and is more noticeable than it would be otherwise. Many women, and indeed older adults in general, begin to consciously or subconsciously limit their fluid intake out of fear. Perhaps they're apprehensive about needing to find a restroom urgently, especially when they are out of their familiar home environment, navigating shopping centers, visiting friends, or attending social gatherings. Or perhaps a past embarrassing moment related to leakage has led them to decide that cutting back on fluids is the safer option to prevent a recurrence. While these concerns are understandable, the physiological consequence of dehydration is a more potent urine. When your body doesn't receive the hydration it needs to function optimally, your kidneys, the body's natural filtration system, cannot process and flush out waste products as effectively. This leads to a higher concentration of waste substances, such as urea and other metabolic byproducts, in the urine. The result? A much sharper, more pungent scent. Think of it in these terms. If your urine is consistently a pale, light yellow and has a very mild, almost unnoticeable smell, a small accidental leak will likely be far less significant in terms of odor. However, if your urine is dark amber, thick, and carries a strong, concentrated smell, that same small leak will impart a scent that clings tenaciously to clothing, bedding, and even the skin. And it truly doesn't take much. One little unanticipated dribble can leave a distinct olfactory mark if the urine is overly concentrated. Healthcare professionals often emphasize that hydration is one of the most frequently overlooked keys to overall better health in the senior years, and this principle extends directly to odor control. By simply making a conscious effort to drink water more consistently, sipping gradually throughout the day rather than gulping large amounts all at once, you are aiding your body in performing its natural functions more efficiently. It helps to dilute the urine, making it less irritating and less odorous, allowing waste to be flushed out gently without leaving behind such a strong, telltale trace. A wonderfully simple yet effective trick is to keep a small glass or a reusable water bottle nearby throughout the day, even when you're engaged in sedentary activities like reading, watching television, or working on a puzzle. That visual reminder can make a significant difference in intake habits. If plain water feels monotonous, remember that herbal teas, caffeine-free varieties are best. Clear broths and water-rich foods like cucumbers, watermelon, celery, and oranges also contribute to your overall hydration. And what about the concern that drinking more will lead to leaking more? It's important to know this. When your body is better hydrated, your bladder often functions more effectively. Highly concentrated urine can actually be an irritant to the bladder lining, sometimes leading to increased urgency and frequency. Diluted urine is generally gentler on the bladder, which can, for some, make it easier to manage urges and potentially even reduce those sudden, unexpected trips to the restroom. So, before you hastily attribute that faint, unwelcome scent you've noticed solely to aging or medications, though these can play a role and should be discussed with a doctor if concerns persist, take an honest look at your daily water intake. You might discover that one of the most powerful, natural, and accessible ways to feel fresh and confident again begins with something as simple and fundamental as a consistent sip of water. We've just explored how crucial hydration is, not just for health, but for managing odor. If this insight about drinking enough water has been eye-opening for you, please let us know by commenting with the number 2 below. And if you're finding this discussion valuable, please consider supporting our work by hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. Remember to turn on the notification bell too, so you don't miss out on future content designed to inform and inspire. Mistake 3. Wearing non-breathable synthetic clothing. Sometimes, the persistent odor you might be noticing isn't solely originating from the body itself, but is significantly exacerbated by the very clothes you choose to wear. For many older women, the fabrics that seem most convenient, readily available, or affordable are paradoxically the ones that can trap moisture, inhibit airflow, and consequently make any hint of urine odor worse and more persistent over time. This is particularly true of synthetic materials. Fabrics like polyester, nylon, rayon, and spandex have become ubiquitous in modern everyday clothing, especially prevalent in items such as underwear, stretch pants, leggings, and comfortable loungewear. They often boast qualities like softness, stretchiness, durability, and wrinkle resistance, which are undeniably appealing. However, a primary drawback of many of these synthetic fibers is their lack of breathability. Unlike natural fibers, they don't allow air to circulate freely. This means that any amount of dampness, whether it's from perspiration, a very light urinary leak, or even ambient humidity, gets trapped between your skin and the fabric. And where moisture is trapped, a less than ideal microenvironment is created. Trapped moisture, warmed by body heat, becomes a perfect breeding ground for bacteria. It's these bacteria thriving in the damp, warm, airless conditions provided by non-breathable synthetics that metabolize substances found in sweat and urine, leading to the production of odorous compounds. So, when you wear something that doesn't allow adequate air to pass through, you're essentially creating an incubator for odors to build up and stay in close proximity to your body. Even if you've bathed meticulously, changed pads diligently, and used appropriate cleansing products, synthetic fabrics can effectively undo much of your effort by locking everything in, holding that telltale scent against your skin. In stark contrast, natural fibers such as cotton, linen, bamboo, and even some modern modal or tencel, derived from natural sources, offer superior breathability. These fabrics allow the skin to breathe, permit moisture to evaporate more readily away from the body, and are far less likely to retain and amplify scents. A seemingly minor adjustment, such as consistently choosing 100% cotton underwear or opting for a breathable cotton or linen nightgown, can make a noticeable difference in how you feel in your body from day to day. You might feel drier, fresher, and less prone to irritation. Consider also the frequency with which you're wearing the same base layers. Even if your pants or top appear clean visually, if they are constructed from a synthetic fabric and you've worn them for an entire day, particularly in warmer weather or during periods of activity, they are likely holding on to more scent molecules than you realize. Sometimes, regular washing isn't entirely sufficient to remove deeply embedded odors from certain synthetics. The molecular structure of the fibers themselves can make them prone to retaining smells. In some instances, particularly with older synthetic garments that have been through many cycles of wear and washing, those fabrics may need to be replaced rather than continuously reused if odor retention has become a persistent issue. This isn't a call to discard your entire wardrobe overnight. Rather, it's an invitation to be more strategic and mindful in your fabric choices, especially for items that come into direct and prolonged contact with intimate areas or parts of the body prone to moisture. Prioritize cotton for anything that touches your most sensitive skin. Think about switching out synthetic bedding, like polyester sheets or comforters, for natural alternatives, or at least ensuring your sleepwear is breathable. If you have favorite chair cushions made of synthetic upholstery, consider using a washable cotton or linen throw over them. Keep a few go-to breathable outfits readily available for days when you anticipate being seated for long periods or when the weather is warm. Over time, the cumulative difference these choices make becomes increasingly clear, not just in a reduction of noticeable odor, but in an enhanced feeling of overall freshness that lasts throughout the day and into the evening. It's a subtle change, perhaps, but one that can have a powerful and positive impact on your personal comfort and confidence, especially when you're interacting with family, engaging in social activities, or simply desiring to feel completely at ease and like your best self. The body undoubtedly changes with age, yes, but so too can the conscious choices we make to support its well-being. And something as seemingly quiet and unassuming as the fabric resting against your skin can be a pivotal factor in whether you feel clean and fresh or persistently, subtly, not quite right. The fabrics we choose can make a huge difference. If you found this discussion on breathable clothing helpful, or perhaps you have a favorite natural fiber you swear by, share your thoughts, or just let us know you're following along by commenting with the number 3 below. We love hearing your experiences and tips. Mistake 4. Ignoring small leaks during movement or exertion. One of the easiest oversights to make, particularly for many older women, is inadvertently brushing off or minimizing the significance of those tiny, almost insignificant seeming leaks that can occur during regular daily movements. A light, fleeting leakage when you laugh heartily, cough unexpectedly, sneeze, bend over to pick something up, or even just reach for an item on a high shelf might not feel like a major accident in the moment. However, over time, the cumulative effect of these small, repeated releases of urine can lead to a persistent, low-level odor that becomes increasingly difficult to pinpoint and even harder to completely remove from clothing and the personal environment. The truth is, these minor leaks are incredibly common. In fact, a significant number of women experience what is medically termed stress incontinence as they age. This occurs when the pelvic floor muscles, which support the bladder and urethra, become weaker or less efficient. As a result, they may not be able to keep the urethra fully closed under sudden pressure or physical exertion, allowing small amounts of urine to escape. So, if you've ever felt just a few drops escape during a sudden movement or a moment of physical strain, please know you are far from alone, and it is absolutely not a reflection of any personal failing. It's a physiological change that many encounter. But here's where the issue with odor begins to compound. Precisely because it doesn't feel like a full accident, many people understandably skip changing their underwear or pad immediately afterward. They might quickly dab the area with a tissue or simply try to ignore it and carry on with their day, especially if they are busy or out in public. However, what those few drops leave behind, even if they seem to dry quickly, is enough to initiate the process of odor creation. Urine contains urea, proteins, and other compounds. Even when the water content evaporates, these residues remain on the fabric and skin. As these compounds break down, often aided by warmth and bacteria, they release the characteristic ammonia-like odor. The body's natural warmth, particularly in areas covered by clothing, contributes to this process. This is especially true if the clothes being worn are tight-fitting, made of synthetic, non-breathable materials, as discussed earlier, or haven't been changed for an extended period. What felt like barely anything, a mere trifle, at noon can, through this gradual process, develop into a noticeable and unwelcome scent by dinner time or the end of the day. It's a subtle accumulation, a slow buildup that can catch one unawares. The key here is not to succumb to embarrassment or self-criticism, but to foster a mindset of preparedness and proactive self-care. carrying an extra liner or a spare pair of underwear in a discreet pouch within your handbag, or perhaps keeping a change of comfortable clothes in your car for longer outings, isn't about being overly cautious or anticipating disaster. It's about being smart, practical, and kind to yourself. It's a way of acknowledging that your body is doing its best to adapt to changes, and you, in turn, are doing your best to support it by staying one step ahead. Some women also find that incorporating pelvic floor exercises, often known as Kegel exercises, into their daily routine can help improve bladder control over time. These are gentle, internal muscle tightening movements that can be performed quietly and discreetly, anytime and anywhere. While they may not offer an overnight solution for everyone and don't resolve all types of incontinence, consistent practice can, for many, help to strengthen the supportive muscles, potentially reducing the frequency or severity of stress-related leaks and thereby enhancing a sense of control and confidence. It's worth discussing with a healthcare provider if this is an appropriate avenue to explore. However, most important of all is the simple act of acknowledgement. Small leaks are indeed still leaks. Affording them the attention they deserve by changing a pad or undergarment promptly isn't an admission of weakness or a sign of giving in. On the contrary, it's an act of profound respect for your body. It's a testament to the care you have for the incredible vessel that has served you for so many years, and a commitment to living the life you still want to live, fully, confidently, and without the unnecessary burden of odor-related anxiety. Acknowledging even small leaks is a big step towards greater comfort. If this point resonated with you, or if you found ways to manage these moments, please share your thoughts or simply comment with the number 4 below. Your insights could be very helpful to others in our community. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe and click the notification bell. We strive to create content that truly supports and informs, and your subscription helps us reach more people. Mistake 5. Skipping daily gentle cleaning of intimate areas. It's a common and understandable assumption. If you're bathing or showering regularly, then surely all parts of your body, including intimate areas, are being adequately cleaned. However, the reality, especially as we age and our skin undergoes changes, is that the way we clean can matter just as much as, if not more than, how often we clean. For many older women, the most sensitive areas where light urine leaks tend to settle and where odor can originate aren't always being cleansed thoroughly enough, or perhaps with the most appropriate and gentle approach. As the skin ages, it naturally becomes thinner, produces less oil, loses some of its elasticity, and is often drier. This increased fragility means it's also more prone to irritation, chafing, and even minor tears. Understandably, many older adults begin to avoid scrubbing too hard or using too much soap in sensitive regions, fearing they might cause discomfort or dryness. This caution is sensible. However, over time, especially if intermittent urine leakage is occurring, even in very small amounts, this gentle hesitation can inadvertently lead to a microscopic buildup of residues. Dried urine, even in tiny, invisible quantities, leaves behind urea, uric acid, and ammonia compounds. These substances can cling tenaciously to the delicate folds of skin and soft tissue in the perineal area. Once they accumulate, even slightly, they begin to break down and emit that faint but persistent odor that doesn't seem to wash away easily with just a quick rinse. The trouble is, this type of deeply personal scent isn't just about what others might hypothetically notice. It's profoundly about what you notice about yourself. You might start feeling subtly self-conscious in quiet moments or when in close proximity to others. You might find yourself avoiding warm hugs or intimate moments. Worst of all, you might gradually stop feeling completely comfortable and at ease in your own skin, even when the rest of your body feels clean and fresh. What helps most is not a complicated or aggressive hygiene regimen, but rather a simple, consistent, and gentle routine. You absolutely do not need harsh soaps, heavily perfumed body washes, antiseptic solutions, or vigorous scrubbing. In fact, these products and methods can often make things worse by stripping the skin of its natural protective oils, disrupting the delicate pH balance, and potentially causing irritation, itching, or even contributing to an overgrowth of odor-causing bacteria by eliminating beneficial flora. What you do need is warm, not hot water, a very soft cloth, or simply your clean hand, and mindful attention to cleansing all the external folds and creases in the genital and perineal areas. Essentially, any area that pads, liners, or underwear come into direct contact with. A once-a-day dedicated gentle cleansing is often sufficient for most, perhaps incorporated into an evening routine, allowing any of the day's buildup to be washed away before bed, promoting a feeling of freshness for the night. Some individuals also find considerable comfort and benefit from occasionally using a warm sitz bath. This involves sitting for just a few minutes in a shallow tub filled with plain warm water. A small pinch of baking soda, about a tablespoon or two in a few inches of water, can be added if desired. Baking soda is known for its gentle cleansing and deodorizing properties and can be very soothing. This simple practice can help to calm any minor irritation, reduce lingering odor from deep within skin folds, and leave you feeling significantly fresher without the need for any harsh interventions. And critically, don't forget the importance of thorough yet gentle drying after cleansing. After washing, gently pat the entire area completely dry with a clean, soft towel. Avoid vigorous rubbing, which can irritate delicate skin. Moisture left behind, even clean water, can create a damp environment that, paradoxically, can become a breeding ground for odor-causing bacteria and yeast. Taking an extra minute or two to ensure the area is properly dry can lead to hours of added comfort and reduced risk of odor. The overarching point here isn't to advocate for an overly complicated or time-consuming hygiene routine. It's to serve as a gentle reminder that your body, in all its wisdom and through all its changes, still deserves meticulous attention and tender care, especially those parts of you that quietly and uncomplainingly carry so much of the day's physiological burden. A daily habit of gentle, respectful, and thorough cleansing doesn't just reduce odor. It's an act of self-love and affirmation. It reminds you that no matter your age or the physical challenges you may navigate, you are still deeply worthy of feeling fresh, confident, and fully peacefully at home in your body. Gentle, dedicated cleaning is key. If you've learned something new about intimate hygiene from this section, or if this reinforces a good habit you already practice, please let us know by commenting with the number 5 below. Your feedback is invaluable and helps us tailor our content to your needs. Mistake 6. Covering the smell with heavy perfumes or sprays. When you first become aware of a faint, unwelcome urine smell, perhaps on your clothing or subtly in your personal space, a very natural and common instinct might be to try and cover it up quickly. You might reach for a strong body spray, a heavily scented talcum powder, a deodorant product not intended for intimate use, or even liberally use air fresheners around your home. It seems like a logical, immediate fix, and for a fleeting few minutes, it might indeed seem to mask the underlying issue. But here's the critical catch. Covering up an odor does absolutely nothing to remove or neutralize its source. In fact, in many cases, this approach not only fails to solve the problem, but can actively make it worse. Many of the commercially available perfumes, body mists, and aerosol sprays that promise to eliminate or conceal odors don't actually achieve true neutralization at a chemical level. Instead, they simply attempt to overpower the unwanted scent with their own strong floral, fruity, musky, or chemical fragrances. When these potent artificial scents mingle with the ammonia compounds present in stale urine, the result is often not a pleasant, fresh aroma. Instead, it frequently creates a strange, cloying, sometimes sour or oddly metallic smell that can linger even longer and be more offensive than the original odor. It's somewhat analogous to spraying perfume on top of a pile of dirty laundry. It doesn't magically make the laundry clean. It just smells like perfume and something else discernibly unpleasant underneath. Furthermore, for older adults whose skin is often more sensitive and whose respiratory systems may be more reactive, some of these perfumed sprays and powders can be problematic. The chemicals, propellants, and artificial fragrances they contain can sometimes cause skin irritation, allergic reactions like rashes or itching, or trigger respiratory discomfort, such as coughing, wheezing, or a feeling of tightness in the chest, especially for individuals with asthma or other sensitivities. The real underlying issue with relying on masking agents is the subtle but powerful message it sends, both to yourself and about how you approach your body's needs. It implies that the core problem isn't worth truly fixing, just concealing. But your body, at every age and stage of life, deserves far more than that. It deserves to be genuinely cared for, understood, and supported in its functions, not merely disguised or camouflaged. True confidence comes from knowing you are addressing the root cause of an issue, not from hoping a superficial layer of fragrance will suffice. Fortunately, there are much safer, far more effective, and ultimately more respectful alternatives that gently help reduce and prevent odor without attempting to overwhelm it with synthetic scents. Unscented, hypoallergenic cleansing wipes specifically designed for sensitive, intimate skin can be a gentle way to freshen up during the day if a full wash isn't practical. A simple, occasional baking soda bath, as mentioned earlier, can offer profound deodorizing benefits. Often, the most effective freshener is simply a fresh pair of clean, breathable cotton underclothes. If you're concerned about odors in your living environment, such as on cushions, chairs, or bedding, natural and fragrance-free options like airing items outdoors in fresh air and sunlight, when possible, or using solutions containing white vinegar, which is a natural deodorizer. The vinegar smell dissipates as it dries, for cleaning surfaces, can work quietly and powerfully without leaving behind a residue of heavy, artificial scents. Activated charcoal filters or open boxes of baking soda can also help absorb ambient odors in rooms. What many older women have discovered, often through trial and error, is that the less they actively try to cover things up with artificial scents, the more genuinely in control and at ease they feel. Because when you successfully address the root issue, whether it's by improving hydration, choosing better fabrics, ensuring timely changes of absorbent products, or refining hygiene practices, there's simply nothing significant left to hide. You can walk out the door, engage with loved ones, and relax in your own home with the quiet, secure knowledge that you are truly clean and fresh, not just temporarily perfumed. So, the next time you find yourself instinctively reaching for something strong and scented to mask a smell you're worried others might notice, pause for a moment. Ask yourself if there's a gentler, more direct, and more respectful way to support your body's needs instead. Because chances are, your body isn't asking for a cover-up. It's subtly signaling a need for care, attention, and understanding. Masking odors rarely works in the long run. If this explanation of why perfumes can backfire and the suggestions for genuine solutions were helpful, please show your support by commenting with the number 6 below. And if you're appreciating this in-depth discussion, a quick click on the like button or sharing this article with someone who might benefit would mean the world to us. It helps us grow and continue creating valuable content. Mistake 7, not washing or replacing linens, clothing, and cushions regularly. Even when you feel you've diligently addressed many personal factors, perhaps you're changing pads regularly, practicing gentle and thorough hygiene, and have consciously switched to wearing more breathable clothing, there's one common area where odor can insidiously hide and persist, within the very fabrics that surround you in your daily life. Your bed sheets, the contents of your underwear drawer, your favorite armchair seat cushions, and even that comfortable pair of pants you often relax in can all become unwitting reservoirs for lingering scents. Urine, especially when leaks are small or infrequent, doesn't always manifest in obvious, visible ways on fabrics. A few drops here, a bit of unnoticed dampness there. It can all dry relatively quickly, often leaving no discernible stain, but still depositing a microscopic trace of its chemical compounds. Over time, particularly with repeated minor incidents or insufficient laundering, these tiny, seemingly insignificant traces accumulate. And once these odor-causing residues settle deeply into the fibers of fabric, they become considerably more difficult to remove with just a standard wash cycle. They can create a subtle, pervasive background scent that you might become desensitized to, but which can still contribute to an overall impression of less than perfect freshness. One of the most frequently overlooked culprits in harboring persistent odors is chair cushions, especially those on well-loved armchairs or dining chairs where older adults may spend a good portion of their day seated. Whether it's the kitchen table chair used for meals and reading, the comfortable recliner in the living room, or a favorite spot by the window, if even one small, unnoticed leak occurs while sitting, the padding and upholstery beneath can absorb it. You might not notice it at the time, or even for a while afterward, but after a week, a month, or longer, the cushion can begin to subtly give off a faint, musty, or ammonia-like scent that seems to linger in the room, no matter how meticulously clean you keep yourself and the rest of your home. The same principle applies with equal force to bed linens. If you're not washing your sheets, pillowcases, and any mattress protectors at least weekly, or more frequently, if there has been a nighttime accident or noticeable leakage, the smell doesn't just stay superficially in the fabric. It can gradually permeate the mattress itself. And once an odor becomes embedded in a mattress, it takes considerably more effort than just standard detergent and a washing machine to effectively neutralize and remove it. Even favorite pieces of clothing, those comfort items we reach for repeatedly, can be unsuspecting contributors. That soft, cozy house dress you slip into every evening, or the comfortable pair of lounge pants you invariably put on after dinner each night. If they are made of absorbent material, even natural fibers, if not washed adequately, and you haven't been rotating them out frequently or washing them with particular care, they may be holding on to more scent molecules than you realize. The solution here isn't to induce panic or to suggest impulsively tossing out all your belongings. Instead, it's about cultivating a gentle, consistent habit of rotating, refreshing, and thoroughly cleaning the fabrics in your environment. For laundry, consider adding about a cup of white vinegar to the rinse cycle. Vinegar is a natural deodorizer and fabric softener, and the smell dissipates completely as the items dry. For items that can't be easily washed, like some cushions, investigate using waterproof or at least machine-washable cushion covers that can be laundered regularly. Make it a conscious goal to swap out and wash loungewear and frequently worn comfort clothes mid-week, even if they still look visually clean. Some women find it practical to keep a dedicated laundry basket specifically for items they've worn while using incontinence pads or for any garments that may have been exposed to leakage. This allows these items to be washed separately, perhaps with an enzymatic detergent designed to break down protein-based stains and odors, or with an extra rinse cycle. Others proactively line their chairs or even their side of the bed with attractive, washable absorbent pads, often marketed for bed protection or pet use, but perfectly suitable for this purpose, that can be easily removed and thrown in with the regular laundry. The more proactive control you take over maintaining the freshness of your immediate environment, your clothing, your bedding, your favorite sitting spots, the more profound your sense of peace and well-being will be within your own home. You'll no longer find yourself wondering, where is that faint smell coming from? Because you'll have the quiet confidence of knowing you've taken consistent, effective care of it. And more than just the absence of odor, you'll feel a sense of pride and accomplishment. Because managing odor effectively isn't just a matter of superficial cleanliness. It's a fundamental aspect of self-respect, personal comfort, and creating a living space where you can breathe deeply, relax fully, and live your life without hesitation or underlying worry. Keeping our environment fresh is just as important as personal hygiene. If this final point about fabrics and furnishings has given you some new ideas, or if you have a cleaning tip that works wonders, please share it or simply comment with the number 7 below. We're building a community of shared wisdom here. As we draw this comprehensive discussion to a close, I want to invite you to take a deep, cleansing breath, not just to physically feel the air filling your lungs, but to symbolically inhale a renewed sense of control, understanding, and optimism. Because what we've journeyed through today, exploring these 7 common habits and their solutions, wasn't merely about dissecting the origins of a smell. It was, at its heart, about the profound process of reclaiming comfort, restoring dignity, and rebuilding self-confidence, one small, informed, and actionable step at a time. Which of the 7 areas we explored surprised you the most, or perhaps resonated most deeply with your own experiences or observations? Was it the subtle yet significant impact of fabric choices, like how synthetic clothes can inadvertently trap scent? Or was it the simple, almost elementary reminder of the power of adequate hydration through drinking more water? Maybe you had an aha moment, realizing that a much-loved cushion you've been sitting on every day might indeed need a little extra attention and a good, thorough refresh. Whatever particular insight struck a chord, I sincerely hope it served as a gentle but firm reminder that none of this is about shame, blame, or inadequacy. It's fundamentally about awareness, proactive care, and tapping into a quiet, resilient inner strength. Our bodies, magnificent and complex as they are, inevitably change as they journey through the seasons of life. But change, it is crucial to remember, does not automatically equate to decline or a loss of quality of life. More accurately, it signifies a need for adjustment, for new understanding, and for the adoption of new strategies to support our evolving needs. And when you possess the knowledge of what's truly causing that faint, nagging urine smell that so many older adults quietly worry about, you are no longer stuck in a cycle of wondering, guessing, or attempting to hide. You are empowered. You are capable of doing something tangible, effective, and respectful about it. That, right there, is where genuine confidence begins to blossom anew. It doesn't spring from an unrealistic pursuit of perfection, but rather from the steady accumulation of progress. It grows from the courage to try something new, to implement one small, positive change that sends a powerful message to both your body and your mind, that you still care deeply, that you still value your well-being, and that you absolutely still deserve to feel fresh, respected, and completely at peace in your own skin and in your own personal space. So, whether your first step is to consciously implement a more consistent laundry routine for linens and clothing, to make a deliberate switch in your undergarments to breathable cotton, to mindfully increase your daily water intake, or to adopt a more dedicated gentle cleansing practice, please know that it all matters. Every single positive choice, no matter how small it may seem in isolation, contributes to a larger, beneficial shift. And these little choices you make, consistently and with intention, will not only transform how you feel physically in terms of freshness, they will profoundly change how you carry yourself, how you interact with the world, and how you perceive your own inherent worth and vitality. Thank you for dedicating your time and attention to this important discussion today. We genuinely hope these insights have been both enlightening and empowering. We would be thrilled to hear from you. Please take a moment to leave a comment below and share one key takeaway you learned today. And if you feel comfortable, how you might plan to use that knowledge in your own life or in supporting someone you care about. Your thoughts, experiences, and reflections are incredibly important to us and to the wider community. They foster connection and shared learning. Reading your comments provides us with great motivation and encouragement to continue this work. If you enjoyed this article and found it helpful and valuable, we would be so grateful if you would express your support by hitting the like button, subscribing to our channel if you haven't already, and perhaps sharing this article with friends, family, or groups who might also benefit from this information. And remember to turn on the notification bell so you'll be the first to know when we release new content designed to inform, inspire, and uplift. Your support is instrumental in helping us continue creating good, thoughtful content. Thank you once again for joining us. We look forward to connecting with you in the comments and seeing you in our next article.